And he came in and he goes, I want to work for you. And I go, I don't know who you are. Okay. He's been with us almost 5 years now. He is my senior hacker. This gentleman, I will tell you, has surpassed me in skills. He is the person I go to. He is a very good friend of mine, a very good employee. He will be talking about Trojans, and I will tell you this is one of his specialties. He was recently featured in Lifehacker 2 weeks ago to talk about the field of ethical security. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of my best friends and one of my greatest employees, Ben Miller.
And he gets me all choked up right before I'm going to give a talk. Come on, man. Don't be doing that. Do I get to pass the report off to one of the juniors? Damn it. That's the best part of if I get to tell one of the other people, one of the other people's been running around here and working really hard. When I get to be like, oh hey, yeah, no, here's that data you asked for, and I'm done. Those are the best. How did I sound? Can you see the bar moving? Can you guys hear me in the back? Mostly? All right, cool. So like Dave said, my name's Ben Miller. I'm not going to do a whole lot of introduction because I either know a lot of you already or you've seen me bolting from one end of this conference to the other, and I appreciate it so much that you guys have come here. You guys make it all worth it, and this is good stuff. I get to hang out with my hacker buddies. I get to talk about fun technology like Trojans, make a bunch of jokes that would be inappropriate anywhere else, and we have a good time. So you guys have liked the conference so far, and you even stayed till the end of day 2. Thank you so much. It's been good, right? All right, clap. Yay, unopened water. All right, so the Great Trojan Demo. This talk is one that I have given versions of this talk, and I basically talk about Trojans and detection and how to protect your network from the things that most people don't see on their network. And the reason why I keep giving a flavor of this talk every year, it still needs to be talked about because we're doing a really bad job of it. So I just kind of keep putting new polish on it and adding in new references to things people have said online that I love to follow. A gentleman that goes by Dr. Cryptia actually put out a huge, awesome blog post about this is all the crap that's wrong, and it's staying wrong. And we know that these things are wrong, and we're still focusing on the APT and who did what and attribution and responsible disclosure, and we can't keep our stuff patched. We have no inventories of hardware, software, people, and data. And this is endemic, and endemic. And the first thing I thought after reading Cryptia's blog post was, and anyone who tells you different is selling something, because I was seeing ads on Twitter and on his, no, not on his blog, but on another tab that I had open, and it's people selling you things that, oh, this will patch everything, or this will fix everything, or this will detect everything. It's the systems and processes and policies that are wrong. And I'm sorry, I'm in teacher mode from doing class all last week, so I've got my laser pointer, and I'm just going to use it and have fun with it. Does anyone disagree that malware is just everywhere? So many emails, so many websites, so much code that we send to each other or get sent from other people contains something that intends to do harm onto our computer system or network. Does anyone disagree with that? And if you say yes, I'm going to ask what was the last computer you touched, and some of us will know what computer you're talking about. Malware is everywhere. And the fun malware that I play with, it's everywhere because I put it there. In my testing lab or in the office testing lab, or every now and then depending on the client and the needs of the client on a client network. But my malware is fun. The malware that I find on client networks, however, not fun. We also do forensic response. I don't know how well everybody here knows Parameter. I don't know if you've talked to John Poole out at our booth, because he sums up everything we do very well. It's what he gets paid to do, and he's really, really good at it. So basically what happens is we have a client, and they say, hey, can you do this? And John ends up figuring out a way that, yeah, no, you guys know how to do that. It'll be fine. And he doesn't promise things we can't do. So we do a lot of forensic response, where a client will call us up, and they say, hey, the FBI called us, and apparently we're spamming them or a hotel or a university or somebody foreign, and they're getting mad at us. Can you guys tell us what's happening? And Dave says, hey, Ben, you got that 2 p.m. bag packed, right? You're going to insert city here. And I say, all right, even though responding to those kinds of intrusions is not one of my favorite things, sometimes I get new toys. What happens is we go onto a client network, we find something interesting. If I can find the malware and get some signatures or maybe find the executable, I get something to research, something to see if I can play with it. Recently had a client that had a variation of Direwolf, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to take a look at it. So the tools that I focus on, both because it's just my area of interest and because they are really fun, are what we call RATs, remote access, tools, or Trojans. I call them Trojans because I have a mind of a 12-year-old and I giggle internally every time I say it, and I've had to teach myself not to while I'm speaking. But a remote access Trojan is literally just a tool that gives you remote access to a system. And the way it's intended to work is you have permission to work on that system, administrative type permission. It's your job to RDP or run software, even if it's VNC with no auth or it's something like LogMeIn. You're doing something where you're doing remote access. And you can do literally everything just like you're sitting at the keyboard with any one of these tools. The stuff we know about, the ShowMyPC, the VNC, those are the commercial tools. And literally the code for all the bad guy tools, the pen tester tools too, looks the same. It's just the user doesn't see everything that's going on, unless I screw up, which does happen a lot. I've talked to many of my clients that as their security model has matured, they start to see, oh, hey, I saw what you did there, and it set off the alerts that I was looking for, but my guys didn't recognize it yet, so we're still training them. Or they'll see that, oh, hey, you put a file on this system, that's bad, right? They'll give me those emails. I'm like, hey, good for you, you caught me. Good job, good job. So I like to talk about this topic a lot. Like literally last year, the talk that I did was just kind of showing people how Trojans work. And Dave and I got together and made a cool video. He did one years ago that I still use. And it's literally just showing you the awesome power of remote access. Because that never gets old. Who here has to work with their C-suite or like IT director guys that just don't think in security terms? Is that something anyone in the crowd has to do? Okay, so I am not a fan of FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, just freaking people out, but sometimes they do need a reality check. So I'm not trying to unduly scare somebody, but occasionally I'm trying to scare somebody. Some of my former students are in this room, and there's something I tell them when I'm teaching hacking, because we do that too, is I want to hear a "that's scary" from everybody, or from at least one person every day. And I have a really good track record for the various phases of hacking, showing something and getting a, that's scary. I don't know if I can defend against that on my network. So literally last year, 2014, that was all of my content. And this is what I heard everywhere, online, in person, at like 4 different cons. Dave started repeating it just to irk me when I was being uppity at the office. But this is just VM to VM communication. This isn't what Trojans actually look like. You're not showing something real. I don't care. You suck. Fine. Why hasn't anybody else done a demo where they actually show a Trojan connecting over the internet between 2 live networks? And I asked myself that question. And, oh, no, I switched my slide deck up. I asked myself that question, and the answer to it was, man, it's really hard to film things in 2 places at once. You need some accomplices. I ended up tagging my 9-year-old. He had gotten a not good mark at school, and there were some behavior issues, and they weren't the social engineering behavior issues that I've kind of okayed. And so I was like, I got to take your Minecraft server. It's not because I need it for a project. It's you've been bad. I'm going to take your Minecraft server, and you're going to sit here, and when something happens on the computer, you're going to click this button that says record, and you sit here over on this network. Daddy's going to run into the office, and we're going to record this stuff. So I have some videos. I had one guy stop me already today. He's like, "You're going to do a live Trojan demo over the internet?" I'm like, "No." Demos are hard, and the dark demo gods of the InfoSec speaking ring will smite me for my arrogance if I tried to do something that complicated. So if you read my abstract in the program or online, I say, I will show you on live video what this looks like, because I always record my demos. And I usually have to record them 4 or 5 times to get all the pieces I want. So here's the deal. Our networks are not complicated. And that's part of the issue. We don't know our own network. So what I'm about to show you is a very idealized, simple network setup. And guess what? It looks a lot like a lot of my clients that we do pen tests for, that we do assessments for PCI, for HIPAA, for whatever. Basic flat tier, not enough egress filtering, lots of protections for inbound, but when I call home to my testing network, nobody raises a fuss. So I'm going to mention some code, and I'm going to talk about a teaching tool that I used to use that, please God, don't actually use this anymore, and I'll tell you why. But playing with Trojans, just like fire, is dangerous. Don't just go Google Trojan and download something and put it on your computer. Please, please don't. I had a student, and they'll remain unnamed, but it's like, you remember where I told you don't do that, right? Yeah. You're going to wipe everything on your computer, right? Yeah. Did you have good backups? Nope. I hope there weren't pictures of your kids, because those are priceless, buddy. So the code that I'm going to show is an older known good copy of a teaching tool that has been around for years called Dark Comet. Anybody here ever used Dark Comet? I had a couple hands. All right, yeah, I know. You were in class, dude. Come on. So I'm going to show you some of that, and then I have my own code that I'm so not showing for YouTube, please. But it's ugly anyway, so I don't recommend looking at it. Usually when I write code, it's literally just to show that I can create a connection, and that your static host-based stuff is not going to see it. So if you're going to play with code, either play with code you wrote, or play with code that someone you know wrote that you trust. And trust between InfoSec friends can be fraught with danger. So even if you're using code that you trust, throw it on a VM, throw it on a bare metal sheep dip, and Wireshark it from another system, and see what happens. And see if what happens is what you expected to happen versus what actually happens. So, all right, hold for video issues. Where did No, I just put a slide in there. That's Evan Booth's joke from last year. So the demo that I want to show, this is just, we're going to go through a couple phases of what stuff looks like. Don't laugh too much about my background here, because I don't know what it'll be. So this is my big bad, you guys see that? Now, part of this is kind of wiped out because I don't want to give away my IP addresses. This is literally my house network, my house test network, calling home. And then some of this is parameter work network, which I don't want you guys to know in case I need to connect to that test network from your client, your office at some point. Some of this is just the video software I'm using is not that great on resolution, so bear with me on the things you can't read as well as you would like. But understand the process. Literally what I did, and there's the Minecraft piece. I wiped it afterwards. What I did here is just I put an executable on the system. This is something that would have been recognized by any antivirus. I took all the antivirus off of here. Again, how up to date are your definitions anyway? Are you sure your users are rebooting their computers? Probably not. So it's throwing that up there as, yes, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm going to open up the connection, and you can see I'm team viewered into the system just to double check that things are working. And so I clicked OK. Boom, and I didn't time it right, so boom, no, maybe, eventually, I will get a connection here. Did I mislabel my video? Ah, boom, boom, we got it synced that time. Not even close. Boom, I get a connection. And so this is literally me over the internet looking at that connection and coming home. So I can do all the scary things you've ever seen from any other Trojan across the internet. And literally, this is how it's going to look to the bad guy is, oh, hey, they clicked, and I got a call, and now I have access. That's a demo of what a Trojan looks like. But that's not really what you wanted, is it? What you wanted to know is what the network traffic looks like. Let's talk about the network and how things are actually going. Yeah, I know, resolution's weird now. Let's talk about how how that network is going to look and how setups are going to go. I get this going again. Yeah. See, video issues again. If you have a flat network, you have a choke point, bastion host, an old school firewall that everything's going through, right? You have that outbound connection. Who here does any egress filtering at all to control what leaves your network? Yeah, that's not a high enough percentage, and you guys know it. This sucks. So when I'm working with clients, I try and categorize them in these 3 tiers, which are really, is it a tiered network or not? Most everybody starts off with a flat network, and they have no idea how much traffic is going across it. If you don't know what suspicious is, or if you don't know what normal is on your network, you have no way of identifying what suspicious is. I say that a lot to way too many people. If you can't read what's on your network because it's all just getting into one spot and you're not that good at Wireshark and the files get too big too fast, you're going to be in trouble. I run into a lot of what I call tiered 0.5 because, like Johnny was talking about, I'm an old school WoW player, and I remember when you had to work really hard to get purples, and they had this tier 0.5 you would get from dungeons, and you could upgrade, and you don't want to hear about that. We think we have some networking tools. We think we have some segmentation. We've got VLANs. Our traffic from our phones and our computers is separated. No, it's going across the same network stuff, and you just have it tagged for management purposes. Not really separated. I have a blinky light device that gives me logs that get sent to my email. And there's a bunch of them from the weekend, and Monday's kind of crazy, and the meetings are too long, and I haven't had enough coffee. We all need something. Whatever it is, mine's coffee. And Picasso's is across from my office. I'm spoiled on coffee. Monday does not happen until 2 drinks in. We think we have the knowledge we need from our blinky light device, and we are so wrong, because if you're going to get knowledge from it, you have to actually read the logs, and who has time for that? But every now and then, I'm so happy I actually see true segmented networks and somebody who's actually paying attention to what traffic is going from segment 1 to segment 2 to segment 3 to out to the untrusted internet. Those are the clients that I love going up against, and those are the ones that call me and say, "Oh, we got you." I'm like, "You've caught one of them." I usually do 4 or 5. So how do you guys do network monitoring? Most people go, yeah, there's some network monitoring. We've never looked at it. Is it in real time? Is it something that actually gives you actionable data on this system is behaving weirdly? It's sending out a lot of traffic. What is all this UDP? Oh, it's just somebody playing League of Legends. Okay, no problem. Versus what is all this other stuff going on here? So we're going to do another video. And again, this is a video that when I show you what it looks like, it's ugly. Nope, that's not the right one. Crap. Okay, everybody can see my, okay, good. So what it is, I moved the videos that I had named a certain way to to my desktop. And I didn't move this one. So, who here has heard of EtherApe? That is more hands than I expected. Beautiful. All right. Is that still showing up, Andrew? So this is my EtherApe monitoring setup. And again, the video tool I was using really hated EtherApe. But what this is some network traffic that I captured on my test, and I actually put in some regular web browsing to then kind of hide the Trojan traffic between my home test network, or excuse me, this is on my work test network calling to my home network. And I'll warn you now, this is ugly. And on your actual screen, EtherApe updates in real time and shows you by bandwidth usage and packet numbers how big those communications are, how much data is being pushed across from host to host. And it's freaking awesome. It also has the ability to log everything that happens, so you can play back the video of it, shows you all the hosts, categorizes the traffic, and that's not... Okay, my video is deciding to die on me because it's only halfway through and it paused. See those red lines? That's HTTP traffic. Can you see those red lines in the back? No? All right, I'll give you a private demo of EtherApe some other time. This is what I do on small networks. This is what I do on the networks when I'm testing and we're trying to isolate a Trojan that we know is on a suspicious computer. Okay, my entire... You son of a... Okay. Welcome back. Slide 14. Thank you. Everything just crashed, but you guys didn't notice. Okay. So that's the tool that I use when I'm dealing with, basically a light sprinkle of a storm, as opposed to, what a huge network like you guys are working with actually looks like. It's ugly for reading traffic across thousands of hosts. Really, if you get above 50, EtherApe's going to have some issues. So it is not the end-all to be-all of network real-time monitoring. There are some other solutions out there, and I don't recommend solutions, A, because then people are like, why isn't it working like you said? And I'm not tech support anymore. Not for 5 years now, almost, pretty much. And if I recommend the tool to you and you put it in place, then I become partially an architect of your system, and I can't be a third-party auditor anymore. And I don't want to do tech support anymore. So third-party auditor, woohoo! So I've had some people say, well, you're not showing me what I need to know to fix my business. And yeah, that's absolutely right. So let me give you the secret sauce to defeating all of this Trojan stuff. Know your freaking network. How well do you know your network? Do you have a cool top 20 controls from Sans list checkbox that says, yes, we have an inventory. It's 6 months out of date. Yes, we have these controls in place. They haven't been updated or checked in I don't know how long. If you have that kind of documentation and that kind of control and understanding, for lack of a better word, of your network, you are never going to see my HTTPS Trojan, my UDP communicating Trojan. Has anybody here seen Beacon, the DNS stuff that Raphael Mudge does over friggin' Cobalt Strike? There's a reason why I don't use that a lot. It's because I don't have to. Most of my networks that I'm penning, if I do an HTTPS connection, they go, oh, your web traffic. Never mind. Go on. On almost every network I hit. It freaking scares me. There's a reason why inventory is the top controls that you need for your network, according to Sans. And I was just teaching a class this week for the con, and I said, yeah, add 2 more, like A and B to each one of those. And you need to have the inventory of the hardware, physical devices, so that you know if extras are added and you know if some go missing. You need to have an inventory of software, if for no other reason than so you can say, you put extra software on this system, that's why it's broken, and I'm not supporting it until you get that software off. That fixes a lot of problems if you can get that in policy. Add to that, you need an inventory of network traffic. What's your usual baseline? If you don't know what normal is, you have no chance of catching suspicious. Add to that, and this is, recently I've had some issues with this, a people inventory. Why do we have a sudden user that says Joe Hacker in our AD? Why is this local admin a user identity on the system when we disable that by default in GPO? Know your network. Know thyself. Because here's the problem. If you don't know yourself well enough, and I can recon your internal network, I emulating the bad guy. Hackers are not bad guys. I emulating the criminal will know your network better than you. My network diagrams are a piece that we offer to our clients after the pen test because guess what? They're better than yours. I have a really cool Nmap script that takes it, throws it into Visio. There's other tools that do the same thing. NetBrain is one I highly recommend everybody look into. You get that as a freebie. So the bad guys will know your network to get what they want. And they want something they can turn into money, and it doesn't mean they need credit card numbers. It doesn't mean they need PHI. There's a lot of things on your network that can be monetized. And just your network can be monetized and turned into a bot or a botnet. So if you don't know it, and I learn it better, or the criminal learns it better, you're screwed. So I don't want to, leave you with no hope. We can make things better. We can do better than this. There's a gentleman who literally just entered the room that wrote a tool that makes it so easy to learn your network and keep track of stuff that it scares the crap out of me that not enough people are using this. Hey, how many stickers have you got on you, Ben? Johnny? PoshSec. All right, seriously, everybody go to the back of the room, the guy that just spoke, Johnny, and Ben 10 back there, get the PoshSec framework stickers, stick them on your computer or your forehead or something, download it when you get back to your network or make your network guys do it, and frickin' learn it and learn your network. If you do that, all the magic traffic in the ether ape that looks scary, it won't go away, but you'll be able to see it and eventually make it go away. Is that... Yeah, they just magically disappear once you have PoshSec. It's literally Dumbo's magic feather. You just need the stickers. Don't download the software. Okay. All right. I didn't say this before Johnny's talk. I thought about it, but wasn't sure, and I was gonna be like, ShowMeCon does not endorse the statements of Johnny Christmas or Ben 10 when it involves anything other than tech and social engineering and how to. Okay. So. We're going to make things better. If you want to talk to me about making things better and communicating, please reach out to me. I really love working with people about this stuff, and I will show you as much of everything as I can and warn you not to do the things that I screwed up and do things better so you don't screw up as much as I did and take your valuable time away. I do want to mention here, I'm going to ask for questions, and then I've got slides to make up for the fact that people usually don't ask questions right away. So I've still got 7 minutes, even with certain person taking a lot of my time. The people wanted me to talk, Johnny. I'm sorry. Any questions? See, and I get no questions, so this is why, hey. All right. Without scaring the crap out of them? Here's what you need to know. All right, here's how I usually coach it. Because most of the people that I know that have a C in front of their name, other than somebody who just walked in the room also, started out in some kind of businessy sales side of things. And they either care about ROI or how to determine... Quit distracting me, hecklers. They either care about ROI or they care about market share and all that kind of thing. Tell them what you need to communicate to management, in my experience, has been, if we don't understand ourselves at this level, somebody else will. Malicious hacker, China, who cares? competitors will know themselves better and do better at what we do. So this will help us out security-wise, but what will also help us out is efficiency of the business, making sure we're spending our money where we need to for controls, and all those good crunchy number things that C's in management like. Don't even worry about that we're stopping the hackers. That's great and all, and will totally help your ROI eventually, but it's a hard sell, and you have to watch for the FUD. So you don't talk about the FUD, you let the news do the scary, and you talk about, let's make our business better. And when you're the IT guy who says things like, let's make our business better, you really stand out in the crowd of IT guys. Trust me. So, sufficient answers there? Awesome. So this is my slide from B-Sides Nashville, and I was pimping our conference. Does anybody have their book on them? Their schedule? There's one thing that I wanted to point out that really we haven't talked about a whole lot. If you turn to the back cover of your manual, whatever this is, there's some dates on there. We're doing this again. It's too much fun. We can't stop now. So June 13th and 14th. You all have a calendar on you. I learned that in the last talk. Put it in there. This thing has grown frighteningly large, and we're going to keep it growing and make it awesome. So any other questions? Second call for questions. I still have 4 minutes, and I'm going to use them. No, you don't get double questions. No. Go. With what? Uggs? Like the boots? Hugging, yeah, hugging. See, okay, your Chicagoan accent like totally screwed me up. Hugging, yes. Those of you who don't know, I was actually the lucky recipient of one of the most amazing awkward hugs on the face of the earth by our first day keynote. And it is not on this computer. No. It's on Twitter. Look it up. It's hot. It's hilarious. So this is my did I talk too fast slide. If I don't kill enough time because I get really excited talking about Trojans and I start talking really, really fast, and I start getting all this energy because I'm one of the few IT people I know that actually identifies as an extrovert. I don't know why I do what I do except that it's fun. I really hate the word cyber for so many reasons. And I agreed with Black Swanburst a long time ago. They posted this thing about, hey, no, we're not doing cyber. And so I really want to stop saying cyber disasters and cyber security and some of that stuff. Let's just talk digital. It's information. It's electronic. Digital works. It covers more than that. And cyber just has been this gluttonous word like really and very that just gets thrown around and added onto everything. And it just drives me absolutely nuts. And for those of us, or those of you with a little bit of OCD, if we had atomic, biological, chemical, and digital disasters, we get another letter to put into the list of disasters that could like annihilate humankind. And that sounds fun, right? All right, last call for questions. Anybody other than Ben want to ask a question? Awesome, that means I explained everything. Thank you guys so much for ShowMeCon. Give yourselves a round of applause. Please come back again. And I still have a minute. I'm going to stand here because I can, and it's goofy. And I'm just going to show my background. I'm not leaving this stage for another minute. Until I hit 5 o'clock, I'm not going.